What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today we have the round 2 of the Pokemon 2007 World Decks. And on the last time, we saw Kitten actually win Game 1 with the Flygon deck, and I'm on the right playing the Empoleon deck. So we see I got a mulligan here. And the rules back then is you're allowed to take your mulligan straight away. You don't have to wait. Your opponent actually puts down a basic Pokemon, so Kitten can take his mulligan whenever he wants to. So we see Kitten take a mulligan there. He almost put the decks on top of the deck here. So let's see what I start here. What you want to start usually here is you want to start Corsola on the Empoleon side, and Kitten probably wants to start Badoo. So we see Kitten start Trapinch, and I start the Corsola. Now Corsola has the attack which searches your deck for a Pokemon, or water or fighting Pokemon to put in your hand. I think it's called Cry for Help. So here we see a Water Energy come down, and we're going to see a Cry for Help, probably getting a Piplup down. There we go. Now turn 1 you can't use any trainers, supporters, or stadiums, so that's why I can't really play anything down. Here we see a Spearow come down. Firo has the ability where he can search your deck for any Delta Pokemon. So here we see a Holland Mentor discarding a Copycat, and he's allowed to get 3 basic Pokemon under 90 HP or 80 HP. And if you want to break down what these two decks do, I did a video before. The link will be down below if you want to see what these two decks do, what all the cards do in the deck. Make sure I go over all of them in the video. So if you want to learn more about them, you can. So you see Kitten get a Trapinch and a Eevee. And we see a pass from Kenton. Alright, so on to my turn here. I know we have the Piplup in hand. There we see a Water Energy come down to it. I see a Transceiver, so we have an option to get a supporter for sure. Now, it takes me a while to play my turns because I'm not 100% sure on how to play these decks. That's why it takes me a little while. I see a Mentor in my hand, which Mentor is what Kenton played last turn. So we see a Castaway here. Search your deck for a Tool, Energy, and a supporter. There we see a Cess Crystal. I think that's what it is. Or is it a Stadium? For sure there's a Celio's Network, which lets you search your deck for an evolution card. I just can't remember if that's a Curse Stone. I think it's a Cess Crystal. But we get attack here. I don't think I attacked here, but here we see a Cry for Help. I think I actually almost just passed there, but we see Kenton's like, no, don't pass. You have you do something. So here we see I get a Prinplup out. Whoops, knocked something over. Okay, so it was a Cess Crystal. Now, Cess Crystal makes it where your opponent doesn't have any Poke Powers or Poke Bodies when it's in the active spot. Here we see an Adventurer discarding Eevee, drawing 4 cards because it is a Holland card. Alright, so Ken draw 4 cards there, very nice. Let's see, it doesn't seem like Ken really has anything right now, though. Oh, did not attach? I'm not sure. We see attack from Ken just doing 20 damage. He doesn't have a Flygon or anything like that. Oh, did he replace a Voltorb with the cast form? I think that's what happened there. I think he attached a Voltorb to the Flygon, or to Trapinch, and then put a cast form down. Here we see a energy go down to Prinplup. And I have a Mentor in my hand. And here we could discard probably the Celios, or maybe the Transceiver. We see discard a Copycat here to get a Piplup. Now, with my deck, you don't want to put down too many basic Pokemon, because Flygon has an ability to put 10 damage on every Pokemon that already has damage counters. Or, yeah, I think it's on Pokemon that already no, it's on all basic Pokemon. There we go. So any basic Pokemon on the bench can be hurt by Flygon's ability. But when you have a Cess Crystal attached to the Corsola, it doesn't have anything. So here we see you get a Empoleon there. I think we used a Mentor. I think I said something wrong last turn, but we used a Mentor to get the 2 cards, and this card a Copycat. So here we see a Mary's Request. Can't remember what it does. That's one of the cards. I think he only plays one of them in that deck. We see Kitten just attack here again. So Kitten's slowly setting up here. He got a Valbrava out. He has a Trapinch in the active spot here. So on my turn here, we get the Empoleon down, we get an Energy down, so we can start attacking here. It does 70 flip a coin if it has do 20 damage to a bench Pokemon. Now we could then put a Piplup down, which, yeah, I agree with that, put a Piplup down. We get a Steven's Advice. Steven's, if you have less than 7 cards in your hand with Steven's Advice, draw as many cards as your opponent has on the side of the field. So we saw 4 there, so I get to draw 4. And then here I just search an Empoleon, or a Prinplup, or just slowly send up here. Now that tool makes it where Ken is a colorless Pokemon, so I'm not really sure why that's in the deck. I know Kenton told me why, but I forgot already. But here we see the Flygon come down. We see, I thought he attached energy, but maybe not. Doesn't seem like Kitten has any supporters in hand. I see a bunch of Pokemon, nothing else really. Is that an Empoleon? I mean, Vaporeon in his hand. Alright, we see another attack from Kenton. There we see a Water Energy go down to the Primplup. And let's see what else I got here. I see a Holland Transceiver. Search your deck or discard pile for a Holland card and play it. Here I get an Adventure. I'm just trying to draw through my deck now. So we see the Adventure discarding a Scientist. And let's see here. We're looking for another Cess Crystal before we start attacking here. So we actually use Crystal's attack. And I think it says put 1 damage on 2 bench Pokemon. That's how you can see the Flygon and the Eevee take damage. I think that's what it does here. I don't want to attack this Trapinch because I don't want Kenton to send up the Flygon and start attacking us. But it does need 3 energies for sure. So here's the Trapinch come down from Kenton. Not that exciting from Kenton. We're just going to slowly set up on my side. Wait till we have multiple Empoleons ready to go. I know last game we didn't really have another Empoleon when he knocked out our Empoleon with his Flygon. So we see an energy go down to the Pharaoh. And a Scientist here, discarding a Vaporeon. Now, Scientist says draw as many cards as your opponent has in their hand. Or draw up to as many cards your opponent has in his hand. So let's see here. Doesn't seem like Kitten still has anything. He has a bunch of Pokemon in his hand, that's for sure. But it doesn't seem like he has really anything else. Let's see here. What does Kitten here? Does he have a rare candy? Another Flygon maybe? He needs the other Flygon here to search out some more Pokemon. The other Flygon lets you... Or no, the other Flygon lets you attach 2 energies per turn. Because you attach 1 to the in Holland and then a regular. The Pharaoh is what he needs, actually searching out Delta Pokemon. And does Kitten have anything or not? He has taken a second here. Let's see. He has a Windstorm in hand. Which you'll see the Windstorm. Get rid of all tools and stadiums to play on my side. Or up to 2, sorry, not all, just up to 2. Here we see a Jolteon Star. Put 10 damage everywhere. Knocking out the Corsola. We're going to set up this Empoleon here. Probably going to get hurt here by this Trapinch. So Kitten's up 5 to 6 in prizes. Here we see the Pharaoh come out so Kittens can start playing his abilities and Pokebodies and stuff. Here we see another Flygon come down. Question is, I don't think he has enough energies. I think he already attached one to Pharaoh this turn. Or maybe, I think he attached one before he used a Holland Scientist. Let's see, what else does Kitten have? Does he have a rare candy in hand? Because in this game, in this format, you can actually rare candy on turn 1 whenever you get a Pokemon out. And it doesn't seem like Kitten has anything else. We see that Absol in there, which is just like the Absol we have now, which lets you move 3 damage from one Pokemon to another. Which is pretty cool. Kitten's still taking a second here. This is a good thing about 2-time speed. Here we see a Pharaoh come active. And this is only one of the attacks I don't know what it does. Maybe he just attached the energy so that way he can retreat when he wants to. Maybe he doesn't really plan on attacking with Pharaoh. I know it needs 2 energies at least. Here we see a Curse Stone. That puts 10 damage on all Pokemon that have any Poke powers, I think. Here we see a Rare Candy to Empoleon. Or put down a paper, Rare Candy Empoleon. Attach your energy to the other Primplup. And here we see a Holland Transceiver. Probably getting an Adventurer. Or a Scientist. Okay. And we're going to discard... Let's see, what do we discard here? With all these Holland cards, you have to discard a card to use it. Here we see another Empoleon up in place. We have 3 Empoleons at this game, while the last one landed 1. Here we see another Curse Stone come down, shutting down Ken's Pokebodies and Pokepower. So not only is this Pokemon taking damage with the Curse Stone, he is also being shut down with the Cess Crystal. So we're doing really good here. Now we can use 70 here and put 20 on 2 bench Pokemon, or we can do 40 anywhere. So I'm trying to figure out the math, which is better here. So here we just do 40, and we see the Pharaoh and Jolteon take damage from the Curse Stone. I think the Flygon's supposed to take damage. Not 100% sure. Here we see a teamwork, a field worker. There we go. Kitten can draw 3 cards, and if he does, I get to draw a card too. Here we see a retreat from Kenton. I guess the Pharaoh has. Oh yeah, he retreat with the Psychic Energy. Here we see. Do you have enough energies to attack? I guess he does. I want to see why we did that if he didn't. Here you see Electro come down. Now, the Flygon does 80 and 10 to every Pokemon that already has damage counters on it. I think I'd use an Adventurer. And here I see a 70. And flip a coin if heads, do 20 damage to a bench Pokemon. So Tails, we see the Flygon and Spearow take 10 damage because of the Curse Stone. Right now we're doing good. We can attack with this other Empoleon next turn. Here we see a Transceiver coming down from Kitten. Get an Adventurer. What card is he going to discard here? Now if he discards a Hollow card, he gets to draw 4 cards. The game has picked up now. But if we see a Jolteon coming down, drawing 3 cards instead of 4. Here we see a Rare Candy to the Flygon. And I think that's what's going to happen. Did he just put that Rare Candy? I thought he did. Maybe he was searching through his discard pile. There we go. Rare Candy Flygon. Put a Psychic Energy down. And we're going to see 80 damage knocking out this Empoleon, and the other Empoleon taking 10 damage. Alright, so it's 4-6 in prizes. Looks like Kitten's in the lead right now. But we'll have to see what happens here. We see a Why Did You Go Down to this Empoleon. Now the Electrode is 2 energies, so that's why I didn't attach it to the active. But we can knock out this Flygon here and put 20 more damage onto this Trapinch on the bench and knock it out too. Taking 3 prizes that turn. If we flip heads here. There we go, heads, knocking out the Flygon, taking 3 prizes, because that Flygon is an EX. So we see Jolteon take another 10 damage from the Curse Stone. Doesn't seem like Kitten... we see a bunch of Pokemon in Kitten's hand, but I don't see really a supporter. The Curse Stone and Cess Crystal is just shutting down Kitten so much. Here we see an Absolute with 3 damage. We don't have the Cess Crystal anymore, because our last Empoleon that had it got knocked out. Here we see a Copycat. Shuffle your hand to your deck and draw as many cards as your opponent has. I imagine I have a lot of cards. Yeah, that's a bunch of cards in my hand. It's usually like 15 cards, maybe. I wish we can Copycat 15 cards. Here we see Rare Candy Flygon. Another energy come down. And he's actually going to attack with his Flygon. The only Flygon, I don't know what it really does here. And we see Kenton actually has to leave the game here. And his brother Jarrett takes his place. Kitten had to go meet a friend, so that's why he left here. But yeah, Jarrett knows what he's doing here. There we see a Flygon attack here. Once again, I'm not really sure why this one, what it does here. But we see a knockout here. We see a Cess Crystal come down. And 70 or 40 to that Jolteon EX, taking our last 2 prizes there. So there we go. That's the game there. We saw Empoleon finally took a game. Or not finally took a game. I finally took a game. I've been on the losing streak here on this World Decks. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you need a breakdown of the other videos, or what the decks are, then link is down below. Go check it out. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. You finally see the power of Empoleon. I really do like the deck. It's probably my favorite Worlds deck. But hopefully you enjoyed. Have a great day. Alrighty. Bye.